Hello, my name is Rebecca, and I will be presenting an overview of the Project Approach instruction model. I will go over the history of the approach and the theorists that helped develop the program, key components, what a project looked like, how to plan and implement the approach, impacts and advantages, and future of the project approach. We'll start with the history of the approach and some important players in the development of the Project Approach model. We will start with the definition of what Project Approach model is. According to the Illinois Early Learning Project, Project Approach is a method of teaching in which an in-depth study of a particular topic is conducted by a child or a group of children. The project approach is incorporated into the curriculum, but does not always constitute the entire curriculum. This approach has early beginnings well before the 20th century. Susie Boss, in an article found on Edtopia, explains that Confucius and Aristotle are a few of the earliest proponents of learning by doing. She goes on to say that Socrates created a model of how learning occurs through questioning, inquiry, and critical thinking. These skills are key components in the project-based learning approach. Other theorists that have played an important role in the development of the project approach model are John Dewey, Maria Montessori, Piaget, Dr. Chard, and Dr. Katz. John Dewey, a 20th century American educational theorist and philosopher. Dewey felt that learning should be grounded in experience as well as student-led and driven. He felt that the students should be in control. No longer should the students be the passive receiver of knowledge while the teacher led instruction. He was a proponent for active learning experiences for children. He was quoted as saying, "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." Maria Montessori and Piaget were two other theorists that also felt education should be student-driven. Montessori felt that education happens not by listening, but by experiences upon the environment. Piaget was all for children making meaning from experiences, investigating and reflecting on those experiences to make them meaningful. Dr. Chard, over the last 20 years, has traveled all over the world sharing her knowledge of how to implement project-based learning in the classroom with other teachers. She spends part of her summers with a good friend and colleague, Dr. Katz, training other teachers at a conference for Project Approach. Together, they developed a group called Project Approach Teacher Education Network. The goal of this network is to help train future teachers. According to the Project Approach website, this approach evolved from a desire to help students. It has a base in constructivism theoretical framework. Some of the key beliefs the model holds are all children want to learn, school is life, students construct their knowledge while their teacher guides them, classroom should be flexible. These are a few of the beliefs the website details. Now that you are familiar with the history and major theorists associated with the Project Approach model, let's discuss the key components and roles of everyone involved. We'll start by diving deeper into what Project Approach model is, the roles of the teacher, and the roles of the students and parents. So what is the requirement of Project Approach to learning? Let's take a closer look at the definition from the beginning of the presentation. Project Approach is an in-depth study of a particular topic that is conducted by children or a group of children. The project approach is incorporated into the curriculum, but does not always constitute the entire curriculum. The project is the centerpiece of the project. Project-based learning is an instruction model. According to Project Approach website, it addresses content through rigorous hands-on learning activities. The students are engaged in solving complex real-world problems. Edtopia explained that the project was not usually solved by one right answer, as it is typically an open-ended task, with several ideas coming together. The following video helps define what the Project Approach model looks like.
Why is the project approach ideal for young learners? Children are natural-born investigators, constantly observing and investigating their experiences and environments. Intellectually curious, asking questions. What is a project? A project is an in-depth investigation on a single topic. Is a long-term study. It is child-initiated learning, child decision-making. Projects allow children to gain knowledge by finding their own answers to questions. Is a direct, first-hand, interactive approach which is best for growth and brain development. Supports social and emotional development. Gives children a sense of purpose for the work they undertake, strengthening their motivation to learn. Integrates Ohio standards into planning and classroom experiences. Allows children to master a wide variety of skills. Is appropriate for all learners.
We'll now take a look at the role of the teacher. The teacher plays an important part in the project, even though she will not actively lead the instruction. She is there to help the learner expand on what they already know. Dr. Lillian Cass defines the teacher's role in the article, The Teacher's Role in the Project Approach. She explains that the teacher is the one who will encourage the students to apply academic skills they already possess to new ideas. The teacher is to listen and probe the students for topics that they would be interested in. Then, after taking this information and the class, help decide on a project. After the project is selected, the teacher should facilitate the creation of a concept web that the children can refer to as the project moves forward. The teacher will also arrange for expert visitors to visit the classroom, and the children can ask and answer questions, and monitor the progress of the project. An important part of the project is the teacher's ability to connect the learning standards. The final role of the teacher is to decide when a project will come to an end, listen to a few teachers, and what roles they have in the classroom.
Above what the curriculum expectations are. Kids are invested in their learning and they're able to transfer and apply what they're learning in school to the real world.
Inquiry-based learning allows the students to be the thinkers. Teachers begin their lesson with an idea of where they want to end in mind, but really give the students the opportunity to drive it to that point. So your job, keep working through your procedure. When you all agree, I'll come back and check in with you.
We have guided inquiry, where teachers are guiding students through the curriculum.
Okay, find that 5 milliliters.
And then making a shift into student-driven inquiry, where students use that as prior knowledge and build their own inquiries around that. We want them to be building the foundation for higher level inquiry, starting right when we have them in kindergarten.
And once someone finds something, make sure that you tell the rest of the paleontologists.
We found the skull!
You found the skull?
The teachers developing the guided inquiry model based on the curriculum, but then the students are shaping where they want to go with it.
We're going to go through our lab sheet quickly, and then we're going to get into our experimental groups. They were told that 2 scientists had a mix-up in their lab. They had some seeds, they had some eggs, and now they don't know which are which. The students had the opportunity to decide what they thought would be helpful experiments for us to get to our answer. Instead of opening with a bunch of information and facts and details, the students are given a problem, and then they're the ones who get to drive the experiments.
We're trying to see which one's eggs and which one's seeds, but we don't know. So we're trying to figure out strategies that we can do. We make our steps, and then we test and see what happens. We've been planting them, and we think the seeds will grow and the eggs won't. I think they'll get bigger. Yeah, so once they get bigger, it would crack open.
Teachers are guiding with questions to really get students thinking and learning how to question themselves.
How might that help us figure out which are the eggs and which are the seeds, floating or sinking?
You might think the eggs are heavier than the seeds. I like doing.
That's just a little snippet of what the teacher's roles are in the classroom. To continue watching the video, feel free to look in the references at the end of the project.
This way because
So what are the roles of the students and the parents? The students have a large part to play. They are the ones to lead instruction by the way of investigations and inquiry questioning. Project Approach places the students in the driver's seat by placing them in charge of asking and answering questions that are inquiry-based. The teacher may present several projects for the students to select from. Once a topic is selected, the students must be motivated enough to conduct several investigations and create several questions that will need to be answered. Students will be working with others in large and small groups, children. Near the end of the project, the student is responsible for summarizing what they have learned and presenting it to the parents or other visitors. The role of the parent is to support the child in their curiosity to learn about an environment and a variety of real-world problems. Parents are often invited to the culminating event where the child will share what they have learned. So what does a day or even a project look like? What is the classroom setup of a project? An average day in a project-based classroom is very different than the typical classroom. After the initial planning is finished, the teacher selects the topic based on the interest of the students. The 3 phases begin. Phase 1 is the beginning of the project. In this phase, the children are creating a list of questions and ideas that will allow them to answer the questions through hands-on experiences. The teacher is introducing lots of new information through stories, activities, and discussions. A letter is sent home to the parents about the topic of the project, and parents are then able to discuss the topic with their child. Phase 2 is where the children are collecting data that will be used to answer questions on the list that they have created. They are listening to expert visitors that the teacher has arranged to talk to the children. They are also completing experiments that will give them wonderful real-world knowledge on the topic. The majority of the project happens in this phase. Research models and investigations are completed in this phase. The project is completed during the final phase, Phase 3. Phase 3 includes a culminating event in which the students share all that they have learned with the parents and other guests. Students will spend days on preparing for this event. In this phase, they will summarize all that they have learned so that they will be able to present it to the visitors. During this phase, the children are reflecting and reporting on what they find. Final part of transition of the project includes the teacher making a smooth transition from one project to a new by using what the interest of the children were. So what does a classroom look like? Let's take a look at what the Project Approach website tells us about the proper room arrangement will look like. If you go to this website right here, it will tell you the space, the furniture layout. It's very important. It will affect the learning exploration in the classroom. This site is a great source for what the room needs to resemble. They stress that the room needs to be a space for several different areas to work, as you can see here if you explore a little more through it. The project approach is an instruction model that has impacted education in a positive way and has many advantages. This model of instruction has proven to be successful for student engagement. Students are actively participating in exploration of a topic of their choice. The flexible curriculum allows for all levels of learners to find strategy that works for them. The responsibility of learning is placed on the student as they learn to navigate through the project. Project-based learning tends to increase motivation to learn. Students want to learn more about the topic that they are selecting. This model of instruction also allows students to form communities of learners that will help them as they solve problems and gain vital critical thinking skills. The project approach model gives all students a sense of purpose. More and more educators are seeing the benefits of using project approach instruction model. This model has been around for many years, and however, the use is on the rise. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation of the project approach model of instruction. The list of references are some of the many articles and sites that helped me with this project. Thank you.